really pleased, Santosh, to welcome you here and be able to chat with you, and it's great to overcome the difficulties we had. Dr. Santosh Karthikeyan from AstraZeneca, you are Global Technical Director, Clinical Data and Insights, and we want to talk about AI in biopharmaceuticals. Use cases and key considerations. So let's get straight into that, Santosh. Just set the scene. How is AI shaping the biopharma landscape today? I mean, you've been using it for years. Just set the scene for us.
Hey, thank you so much, Tim. I hope you can hear me okay.
I can just about hear you, yeah. So.
All right. Apologies, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the participants. Thank you so much for joining my session. Apologies. I know we are in Tech and AI conference, but every one of us in this industry acknowledge that there are technical glitches that happens over the meeting. Sorry about that. All right, Tim, thank you for the question. AI is transforming the healthcare industry, and it's very promising in terms of our investments, especially in the R&D space, given that AI is getting embedded in the overall pharma value chain, starting from drug discovery till the regulatory submission. It's we could see as an industry we have progressed a lot, and it's no more laggards on the technology adoption in the industry. We see a lot of use cases emerging across the industries, which is driving the patient care, and it's very promising. I would say one of the top industry where AI is embedded, and I have personally seen multiple projects, right, where AI is embedded and driving value to our patients.
I know that you've spoken a lot recently about that mesh between AI and trust and transparency. Can you explain your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it is very important that we have a strong framework when we talk about trust and transparency, because we are driven with patient-centric solutions when we talk about biopharmaceutical industry. So it is important to have that framework across trust and transparency in everything that we do when we deliver value to our patients. So and especially from an industry standpoint, we work based on the use cases, and when we work on use cases, it is important that we embed this framework within any of the solutions that we develop and deploy for any of the AI solutions. So it is critical for us that we are driven with this framework and we execute it. So yeah, that's how we go ahead in this industry. Yeah.
And I guess a particular worry for pharma research is whether AI itself introduces any bias, any further bias. How do you get around that? What are the considerations you need to be aware of there?
A very important question, Tim, because we need to make sure that we have a validation in place when we say data validation, when we kind of adopt to any of the LLM models, especially the Gen AI models that we adopt to. So we need to kind of use the discriminative models in terms of validating whether the data is rightly used, and we don't have any kind of underrepresented population. So it is important for the professionals to invest a lot of time on validating the data sets, and spending a lot of time, right, in terms of the validating each of the source systems, and that's where we run through a lot of discriminative models, which I mentioned, which helps us to understand whether there are any biases, and also we make sure that the population is represented inclusive of all the parameters. So that's a critical for us. Yeah.
And of course, I mean, a company like yours invests billions, as do many companies, to bring a medicine to market. So how do you balance that commercial imperative and innovation with your need and our need for data quality, privacy and compliance?
Again, a great question, Tim. As I would like to highlight more from an industry standpoint, it's a highly regulated industry. We know that we need to balance out innovation as well as the regulatory aspect of it, because we are in a patient-centric solution, and we cannot put our business at risk by kind of immediately adopting to any of the new technologies that comes in the market. With that said, we have a very strong framework in terms of developing and deploying any of the AI solutions. We have a thorough assessment of the risk, and even when we collaborate with our third-party vendors, we onboard them. We make them understand this is what we need to do in terms of validating the data, and the tools also goes through a series of validation and assessments. I know it is time consuming, and at times it could be frustrating for the developers because they want to immediately deploy the new technology or the fancy tools that comes in the market. But we need to be mindful of our patients, who are our end customers, who are going to get benefit out of it. So we have to take an organic approach in terms of following the ethical guidelines set by the organization. And this is my recommendation to everyone, right, within this industry, is like we need to make sure that we take a constructive approach, and we take a pause, right, in terms of validating if there are any security vulnerabilities, and we go through a series of assessments. And that's where the enterprise AI governance plays a very critical role in terms of enabling these practices within any organization.
In AstraZeneca, I trust. You're a big company, you're reputable, you have your guardrails in place. How can we be sure, though, that the guardrails and ethical considerations that you describe and apply to all biopharma around the world? It's a difficult nut to crack, I suspect. Or is it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm proud to say, like, AstraZeneca has been one of the pioneers in rolling out the responsible AI practice within the industry, and there is a kind of an approved article around that, which we can find out by Google search. With that said, it is important that we have this practice within any pharma industry, right? Because it is important for any person working in a regulated industry to follow the strong SOP, which guides us through how we can develop and deploy any AI solution. So it is important for anyone working on any AI solution to follow these approaches. And what we do is, like, any use cases we pick up in the overall pharma value chain, we kind of closely work with our enterprise AI governance team and other key stakeholders like cybersecurity team, enterprise architecture team, to validate the solution blueprints. And there are other key stakeholders who are involved, whom we closely work with in order to make sure that each of the use cases, starting from the proof of concept till production, we make sure that it is like regulatory compliant, and also we are doing the right thing for our patients. So that's very important for us.
I know that you have worked on predicting adverse drug reactions. So how is AI helping to advance patient safety and good clinical outcomes?
Yeah, that was a very interesting project, and it's a widely recognized project in terms of predicting ADRs, which you call it as adverse drug reaction. So I did that project in 2013. So we have progressed so far in terms of the AI use cases that we have picked as and now we are talking about agentic AI. So that was on the predictive analytics project. Again, so the way it works is, we think about what is the business value each of the use cases bring on the table, right? For example, we spoke about the predicting the adverse drug reaction. So it talks about how we can bring out the efficacy of each of the drugs and its side effects, right? So that's on the objective of the project. Similarly, if we talk about any of the let me pick some examples, right? One is on the recommender system, which we have built for reading the clinical protocols, which is keenly helping in the clinical data management space. So that helps us, the clinical data managers, to understand the protocols without any manual intervention, and it saves a lot of time for the data managers to manually validate the protocol, and and also reduces the time, right, which I mentioned. So that's one use case. And very popular use case which we see in the industry is on the image analysis, where we kind of load the images of the pathology images, and it is helping the R&D data scientists to score the tumor cells in terms of oncology therapeutic area. um, so there are many. I mean, I'm just getting these thoughts, but there are many use cases. Okay, let me talk about one of the use cases in drug discovery, right? Where we can kind of identify the potential drug candidates using the MAFDIF model, which is a diffusion model within AI. And there is a very kind of detailed article that I have posted on the social media, which is an approved content as well. People can go through and understand how we have approached in terms of leveraging the technology, and also how the R&D scientists are approaching, right, when we look into a problem and basically what is the business value we are getting out of it. So yeah.
Okay, Santosh, because of all the issues we had at the beginning, we'll have to leave it there. But I think we've covered most of the ground that I wanted to cover, and I hope you've been able to get across what you wanted to as well. Thanks a million for joining us today and kicking off Tech and AI like Singapore with all that amazing information. So, Santosh, thank you very much indeed.